Hey friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson and welcome to another little lesson. Last week we talked about the major scale, and this week it's all about the minor scale. Whereas the major scale is indeed the root of all Western styles of music, I would dare say that pop music, or at least popular genres of music, blues, rock, jazz, and definitely some of the pop coming out these days, it's all rooted in the dreary tonalities of the minor scale. So why did we start with the major scale and now we're working our way to the minor scale? Well, it's because without the major scale, the minor scale wouldn't exist. There are a lot of the same notes in terms of intervals within the minor scale that are in the major scale. But it's at very key points that we're lowering the pitches of the major scale to give us a minor tonality. To drive that home, let's go ahead and take a look at the scale degrees side by side. Starting with the major scale, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All of them major scale degrees. As a flip side of that, we have the minor scale, which is made up of 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and flat 7. 3 instances where we take a pitch and lower it to give us that minor tonality. So now let's jump in and start exploring this and expanding upon it. Now, when we looked at the major scale, we started with C major. Why? Because it has no sharps, no flats. I want to do the same thing here. And for this, our key center is going to be A minor. Now, some of you are wondering how that all works out. Well, A minor is the relative minor of C major. All the notes within C major are in A minor. We're just emphasizing a different note as our root note in order to get a more minor tonality rather than a major tonality. We start with our root note, our 1, our key, our tonic, all different names for that degree A. From there, we go up to our 2, which is going to be B. Then we go up to our 3rd, which is C, our minor 3rd. Then we go to our 4th, which is going to be D. Then our 5th, E. Our minor 6th, which is going to be F. Our minor 7th, which is going to be G, and then finally the octave of our root note, another A. So now with the idea that A minor is no sharps, no flats, and we have one pattern of the scale underneath our fingers, we can find it no matter what, as long as we remember that all the tones in A minor are going to be natural. Let's find another root note to play around with. How about one high up on the fretboard? So right here, the 10th fret of the B string. So the 2 of A is going to be B. The minor 3rd of A is going to be C. Then we have our 4th, which is going to be D. Our 5th, which is going to be E. And then our minor 6th, which is going to be F. Then our minor 7th, which is going to be G. And then finally, our octave A. Now, just like with the major scale having a formula in terms of how to figure out the arrangement of the notes on the fretboard, the minor scale has one as well. It's whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. So let's do a single string version of that. Let's go ahead and start with the open A as our root. So then we're going to go up a whole step to our 2, which is going to be B. So A to B. From B to C, our minor 3rd, that's a half step. Then from C to D is a whole step. So we go from our minor 3rd to our perfect 4th, then our 4th to the 5th is going to be another whole step, D to E, D, E. Then we go a half step to our minor 6th, which is going to be F, E, F, and then finally our minor 7th, F to G. And then we reach our octave. Now, just like with the major scale, the minor scale also has chords that correspond to each scale degree. The 1, 4, and 5 are going to be your minor chords. The 3, 6, and 7 are going to be your major chords. And the 2 is going to be that strange diminished chord that we talked about. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pick a good musical key. How about one that all us guitar players really like, E minor? So with E minor as our 1, our 4 is going to be A. And then our 5 is going to be B. You'll notice that this has a very familiar kind of arrangement to it because it's really the basis of the blues. And then surf music usually keeps those full minor chords in there. But what about the major chord counterparts here? Well, first we have our third, so let's count that up. E, F sharp, G. So G major. Then we have our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C major. And then our 7th, which is going to be D. Now we have the strange diminished chord, which in this case is going to be F sharp. Again, this is one of those things that diminished chords are usually not played in their full voice, at least in popular styles of music, especially pop music, rock music, sort of that sort of thing. What really ends up happening, especially because now we're playing in a minor tonality, that diminished chord is almost always used as what's called a passing tone, in that it's not played so long within the chord progression. It's usually more of a bass movement. You may have heard songs that do something similar to this with a G chord. That little bass movement, it's really more about bass movement. It's not so much about imparting a diminished tonality. It's just keeping that G, but then dropping that root note as a way to walk down the scale. So let's go ahead and recap what we talked about today. The minor scale, the counterpart of the major scale, and most likely the basis for all popular music that you hear today. The scale is formulated by taking the 3rd, 6th, and 7th of the major scale and lowering those scale degrees 1/2 step to create 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and flat 7. You can also refer to those flat degrees as minor scale degrees if you so choose. And just like there's a formula to find the major scale on the guitar fretboard, there's one for the minor scale as well. It's whole half, whole half, whole. And within each minor key are 3 minor chords, 3 major chords, and 1 diminished chord. These minor chords being the 1, 4, 5, the major chords being the 3, 6, and 7, and the diminished chord being the 2. And you can arrange them however you want to make whatever kind of music it is that you want. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me and watching this week's little lesson. I really hope you got something out of it. And if you did and want to see more, make sure you click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell because they go up every single Wednesday. But if you're looking for something that's a bit more intensive, check out my Busy Guitarist Bootcamp at the link in the description box down below. It's going to be a 10-week live online guitar camp where we expand on this and much more in a series of 1-hour group lessons together. And if you sign up today, you get 50% off the full price. Until we see each other again, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson wishing you all watching great tone and happy stomping. Cheers, friends. God bless.